Okay, there's a lot to talk about in the news this week, and here to discuss some of the important events is Teena McQueen. Teena, fantastic to have you on the show again. Can I kick it off with this? Our politicians are often maligned, but some of them simply do not help themselves. In fact, a lot of them don't help themselves. Now we've got the former Premier of South Australia, Stephen the Marshmallow Marshall, a terrible Premier. He spent 2 years looking for a job since he got booted out of office, and he wasn't able to find one. So what does he do? He decides to get a part-time gig as a board member for an industry that he allegedly was involved in bringing to the state. This is an insult to taxpayers, and it maligns and marginalises all politicians in public eyes, doesn't it?
Oh, look, it really does. I mean, he's had permission to take this board, but he has, it doesn't sit well with me, Cory. It's amazing that these ex-premiers find it so hard to get a job. It's frightening that this guy ran South Australia, and like you said, he was a dreadful premier with a handshake like a wet fish, I may add. And so he's working with an American defence company that he, had some contact with during his time as premier. So I think it's a little bit of a nasty taste in my mouth, but it's a paid gig for him, and hopefully he's going to do that fine. But leave Parliament, give your seat to someone dedicated to representing their electorate.
That's exactly right. And the story is that apparently everything wasn't disclosed about the assistance that he gave to them to get there, because that's against the code of conduct, even if he got the permission. So there's a lot to unfold there, but really it just discredits politicians.
Happy for you, Steve, but move on. Do the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. There's an old saying, Teena, I've used it a lot. If you can't control the borders, you cannot control your destiny. And this is a lesson the Albanese government appears not to have learned for the second time, I think. Teena, do you think the people smuggling trade is set to open up again under Labor? We've had one boat arrive. Their asylum laws are in tatters. The signs are not good, are they?
No, I think it's definitely, opening up again, because the countries that, ferry these people smugglers know how weak the Labor is on this. Labor see people smugglers increasing their voter base, just bringing in people that will support them. It's frightening. And Dutton's been very strong on this. And I think people remember how powerful Dutton was, how firm he was on this stance when we were in government, and this is doing a lot to get more support for Dutton, Cory. It's a good thing, because this will be really important in the next election, along with 1,000 other things that Albanese's failed at, but this is right up there in the top 3.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is very important to Australians. They want to protect their borders. Hey, the beta male, I love that term for him, but the beta male Prime Minister has refused to say whether he raised the dangerous sonar attack on the Australian Navy divers. Now, to me, that means he says he didn't raise it with China, but now Penny Wong has apparently rebuked the Chinese over it. This smacks of weakness by the PM and window dressing by Wong. Do you think it's too little too late to stand up to the Chinese? Are they running scared?
Exactly. There's no way Albanese wants to upset the Chinese at all. So he's pretty much had a quiet word to Penny, so you go out there and say something and, appease everyone. No, and again, this is another area where Dutton has said his piece to the Chinese minister, how he's discussed and expressed his disappointment in it. So, but Albanese, again, another area where he's just weak. He stands for nothing, Cory. It's a protection racket for Albanese. It's all about self-preservation.
I have to agree with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you send other people out like human shields in Penny Wong. So they're not very deep in the talent pool, I think, Labor. Speaking of talent pools, what about this? It was revealed this week that 32 public servants are pocketing at least $1 million each year, including $3 million for the NBN Co chief executive, $2.39 million for the Australia Post CEO, and the boss of Snowy Hydro. Teena, all 3 of these enterprises are terribly performing government ones. They're either making losses or they've got massive cost blowouts in their build-out in the case of Snowy River and the NBN Co. How can we afford to pay people millions of dollars to be so bad at their job?
Oh, it's disgraceful, Cory. And I'll give you an example. My mother doesn't really use a mobile, so everything's through her landline on the which is connected to the NBN. And there have been so many problems with the NBN, the area she lives. And when that happens, she does not have her her landline available to her, her emergency alarms, things that she has hooked up for some medical purposes, that all goes off. And it makes me sick to think these guys are getting paid that amount of money when the poor pensioners and those too old or not capable of using a mobile, their lives are so destroyed by this. No, there's a lot to answer for, and we should absolutely re-look at the kind of money these guys are getting for absolutely no performance at all.
Absolutely right. And, you know, in regional areas with the NBN, you can use Starlink now. It's a little more expensive, but the service is actually better. The one that gets me is all the people that were cheering on the Snowy Hydro battery scheme of Malcolm Turnbull's. It's going to cost $4 billion, and now it's whatever, $24 billion or something. It's as if money doesn't matter to these people, and you know, the poor taxpayers are just. They
have no concept because they're on such money, Cory. They have no concept of what the average person goes through. They're just living in a world of their own.
Yeah, but once again, Teena, it comes back. The politicians make these determinations, these decisions, and they're dumb. They don't think past their own re-election. It's just an appalling lack of vision in some cases. Not you though, Teena McQueen. You've always got your eye on the prize, so thank you for joining me on Bernardi tonight.